Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 331.
331.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. 2019 is winding down, which is hard to believe. This year has gone so quickly. And now it's time to think about 2020. Epcot Festival of the Arts is really just like next month, which is hard to believe also. And that starts on January 17th. And then you have the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival on March 4th. And the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway starts that day too. So March 4th is probably a pretty good time.
And I hear there's this new ride coming to Disneyland early next year as well.
Yes, Rise of the Resistance, which of course we already have and we've ridden and we're going to talk about today. And the reason we're talking about it today and not 2 weeks ago is because we went to Disneyland and had just no time. But MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, 20 years in business, and they can help you with your Disney vacation or any vacation.
So let's get into it. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. We were there for the big opening event a couple weeks ago.
Well, the media event, which was just one day before the opening day, which we would have done. We left for Disneyland like hours later. But this is really an incredible attraction. I wasn't really sure what to expect with Rise of the Resistance, and you can see that the lines are packed every day right now.
Oh, yes, look at how packed they are in the queue.
Well, you can't see it right here, but you can see it on Twitter.
Well, the queue is very detailed. If you are waiting in there, there's tiny little things to see. I mean, we did explore it a little bit. But obviously, this is a very different experience than is happening right now. And the first of the actual pre-shows, I'll call them, is this one. And it's really interesting. You have BB-8 here, and BB-8 is about to interact with a hologram of Rey.
And we do have video that includes this. We have a number of videos up. Very spoilerific.
As this show will be very spoilerific as you go on. So once you start to sense that it's too much spoilering for you, I would skip ahead.
Yes, and so Rey is seen in a Disney calls it a hollow transmission alongside BB-8, and she shares a plan to reunite with General Leia Organa at an off-planet location. That's something that I wouldn't even know to say unless Disney wrote it.
And now part 2 here, we're going on a transport vehicle. This is very cool. This could be a ride in itself, an attraction in itself in another park, really.
This is done so well. The only thing is, one person on my Twitter said that they got a little motion sick from it. I don't think that's normal. Right. I don't think most people with motion sickness would get that.
It's not like Star Tours.
Right. And none of it is like Star Tours, but there are moments in the attraction that somebody who is extremely sensitive might have an issue.
And here is a view looking out the back. This is really amazing. You're actually taking off, leaving Batuu here, and the detail is fantastic. And there are things to see on the back of the transport as well as the front. We're going to switch over and take a look at the front of the transport too, but so much to see. Here we go. Here is the front.
And this is Lieutenant Beck. But this is just very interesting, like to look at the quality of the animatronic. They really, again, they do a great job. It does take a little longer than I would expect, the whole movement
but you're being fully entertained.
Yes.
You know, it's not a boring pre-show.
And that's the one thing is some pre-shows at Disney are not repeatable really at all for me.
Flight of Passage comes to mind for me as something that once you see it the one time, you don't really need to see it over and over. But this I can watch over and over and over. I'm never bored, at least the 4 times we've done it.
Right. I mean, you keep going through, and it really is one of those attractions for me that I walk through everything and go through everything, and I'm okay to go and do it again, all of it.
But look at this. I mean, the grand reveal here when you get out of the transport.
Right. This is the First Order Star Destroyer hangar.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And there's the vehicle you were just in.
This is not the first time that we were in it. We were in it in August. We did a media event at that time, and we walked in. And I just remember seeing it. I'm like, I can't believe you're not even in the ride yet. You're actually still in kind of the queue area, and you're seeing something that is better than almost anything in any attraction.
And it seems like you can walk around and observe this as long as you want. Now, I don't know if that is the case.
It is not always the case.
Okay.
This is not, because I just was told by somebody that they actually had to move a little bit faster through it one of the times.
Oh, that is
they
very
went
good
in.
to know. And we are going to attempt to ride this very soon. I mean, we have had no time since we've gotten back from
Well,
California
we've
to get
only
over there.
been back like a day.
Right,
So
exactly.
the plan is I would like to go on it this week. So we're going to go at, 5 a.m. or whatever time we need to be able to ride again. But it will be very different because they call boarding groups, but there's still a lot of guests there where we obviously did not have, we were very fortunate not to have big waits while we were riding.
So now we're on our way down this corridor. We're about to be put into a little jail. And I should mention the cast members that were working the attraction were phenomenal. I mean, really add greatly to the whole experience. And they really do a great job. So here we are. We're about to be assigned a jail cell. You could tell us a little bit more.
I'm just looking at this and it's so interesting to look at it and how high quality it is. It's like, we were really focused on getting those videos and photos. And I'm looking forward to just going in as a guest and not doing too much of that.
Taking it all in.
Yes. But we went into a prison cell, and that's what right now I think we're stepping on like a number or something.
Right. And here we are. That was very quick. And we're into the cell now. And this is just me. Normally you're with a big group, but it was only me, and I was alone in the prison cell. And when the door closes and it gets dark, it was actually kind of spooky to be in there with just, and you're about to see the General and also Kylo Ren come out. General Hux. There's General Hux.
One of the times that we were in there, though, we were in there with other guests for about 10 extra minutes.
Yeah, yes.
And the thing is, you don't know. It's like, do they know? I wanted to put a note under the door to let them know we were in there.
This is such a convincing effect, though, this projection. They even do the shadows to really sell this, that they are there. And it's just amazing. Even better in person, obviously.
Well, everything is better in person. Even if you watch videos, it gives you an idea of what you're going to see. But in person, obviously, it's a lot, even more impressive. Like going into the room with the stormtroopers, the hangar is
Well, look
incredible.
how awesome this is. I mean, the wall is being cut through with lasers or force, whatever the thing is.
I have no idea what it is.
And here we go. In a big hurry, we're about to get into the transport vehicle here.
And I've mentioned before, I like Star Wars. I'm a Disney person
Right.
first.
Obviously, we are not overboard Star Wars geeks because we probably get most of this terminology not quite perfect.
Right. So that's why I don't try to use too much of it. It's just an attraction for me that I think is, even if you are not huge into Star Wars, is a tremendous amount of fun. This is a family-friendly attraction, and that's the one thing when I got off of it. It was like almost anybody who is tall enough, which is 40 inches, can ride this attraction. To me, it's like a big dark ride. I mean, it'd be like if Pinocchio or something from Disneyland was created now and was just amped up in technology. This is, to me, a dark ride, although it's not too dark. It's not too noisy, although there's gunfire.
There's just so much going on in this ride. You can go, the 4 times we did it, we saw different things. And I should mention, depending on which car that you are assigned, you will have a slightly different experience. You'll see things from different angles, and you might even see different characters.
Yes, and look at the AT-ATs, which are also
Life size.
incredible. So I was mentioning the family-friendly aspect. Like, I was talking to a project manager, although we'll show her. And off the camera, she mentioned multi-generational when I said that I was really happy that they created this for almost anybody to be able to do.
And notice the animatronic fin there. Now we're going up to see the AT-AT. Now, if you take the back cars, you're going to go up on the side and see a completely different view of the AT-AT.
And I mentioned about the holding, like that gripping onto, really for 5 minutes. The first time I went on, it was without Jeff, and I was just on with a bunch of guests that I didn't know. And I held on, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I was so nervous the whole ride. And I don't know if maybe I shouldn't say this because, like maybe you want to have that anticipation, but it really is just a fantastic ride that you don't have to worry about a big drop. You don't have to worry about too much of a simulator. We're going to see a little bit of that probably in a minute. But you can take your kids, you can take, if you're my age, like I could take my mother, if I had kids, I could take my kids, And that's what I really like. That's what I really took away from this attraction.
And as we're talking, you're seeing some amazing effects, like this lightsaber cutting through the ceiling, just spectacular. And now we're about to look at the big guns shooting. There's a giant battle going on, and you're right in the middle of it. So it's very exciting, but I totally agree with what you're saying. Just about anyone can ride this unless you have very, very sensitive motion sickness issues.
Right, and also for wheelchairs, Jeff was just telling me off camera, you need to be able to transfer. They don't have wheelchair cars, at least not right now. I hope that will change at some point. And so those are really to me the main things. The vehicle does move pretty fast, and that is something that some people will be sensitive to.
Here's the big spoiler right here. Kylo Ren is being sucked into space, which the first time I saw that, it was kind of out, just blew me away.
You know what?
It's a good term for it.
I never realized that's what's happening because
What did you think? You were blowing
had
him to
no
smithereens?
I don't know.
He was being sucked into space.
I'm just learning that,
The first time I rode this, it was just me alone in the car, and I was recording. So I didn't really get the story until the second, Oh, and here's the drop. That's it. That is the drop. So it is not very much of a drop at all.
Well, the second time I rode it, I did not hold on at all because I wanted to see if it was not as intense as, how I felt. So, and I was able to not have my hands on the bars the whole time.
And that was about all you get with as far as the simulator aspect there. Not too long. So again, if you're prone to motion sickness, not very much motion going on in that particular part of it.
Right. It sort of does the drop and then the simulator. And between the two of them,
seconds,
very,
really.
very fast. So if you don't like simulators, you'll probably still be fine because it's just so brief.
And now we're actually going to see a little bit of the outside world, which is awesome. I love an attraction where you see if it's light or if it's day. And depending on when you ride during the day or during the night, the takeoff in the transport ship also would be in the day or the night. And as we're getting to the very end, you can see that Lieutenant Beck has survived. He is okay, and he's greeting us. And what a nice ending to the attraction.
And after each time I wanted to ride again, and that is the truth, and that is not always, again, how it is for me.
Yeah, I remember you said, let's go right away.
I did. I wanted to go. At first I wanted to wait until 4 p.m. or so when we had our ride camera. And then we're like, okay, well, we'll ride earlier. And then I'm like, okay, I want to
Once
keep
you
doing
had a
it.
taste of it, you wanted to ride again and again. And speaking of on-ride cameras, this is our obligatory on-ride camera footage. And here we are. Now, this is the fourth time that we had ridden, so we didn't have quite the shock and surprise that you might see in some of these. But this is all 100% actual, natural looks.
Well, fourth for you, third for me. So I already knew I enjoyed it. I'm having a good time, but I'm not like, and I don't know that I ever had my mouth open at it. I just thought it was really cool. And I know I'm here talking to you, and I didn't know if I could talk on camera.
Yeah, we didn't know if we were being recorded or not, and it turns out it isn't. It was just music over it.
Because I was thinking maybe I would just like talk to the viewers. So I'm glad I didn't try to do that.
So afterwards, while I was waiting to get a spot for the big dedication, you were able to do an interview with one of the Imagineers who worked on the project. Why don't you set that up for us?
Well, it's principal show director Danny Bellar Palukas. I think that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went over there and I didn't get mic'd up. I just wanted to be off camera and have her talk, but I didn't realize you can't really hear me. So I asked her several questions. I just wanted, to talk about the family-friendly aspect of the ride, about what guests can take away, and just a little bit of an overview of the attraction. The overview is first. So that is essentially what I asked her and what she is answering in these segments.
My name is Danny Bellar Palukas, and I'm a principal show programmer for Walt Disney Imagineering. I think one of the greatest thing about Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is that our storyline starts at the very beginning. You get an opportunity to enter into a space where Rey gives you a mission that she expects you to carry out. You go from there into the Galactic Star ITS, and from the ITS you enter into to head to a secret base, and when you're headed to the secret base, the First Order finds you and you end up in a First Order Star Destroyer. From the Star Destroyer, the goal of the Resistance is to get you out. So you are taken prisoner by the First Order, and then the Resistance gets you out, and eventually you are successful and able to come back to Batuu. So my team is the team that delivers after creative has come up with this amazing storyline. So our creative directors came to us with this story and said, this is the story we want you to tell, and we find the technology that helps us feed that story. I think that is one of the greatest things about Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is there's something for everyone, and there is the opportunity to take younger children on this attraction, and they're going to love it and enjoy it. And it has its moments of high excitement, but it's not too scary. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for children and adults to experience it together. I think for me, one of the coolest things to take away from the ride is that family experience that we talked about. It's a very cool attraction to share, and there's a couple different ways you can go through the attraction, and then once you are off the attraction, you have the opportunity to share that with your family and friends who may have had a slightly different story than you did when they went through, and talk about it and experience it. It's one of the greatest things about attractions. It's why we ride, is so we can share them with our community.
And thanks to Danny for talking to me. It was just a really quick and fun little interview.
So now we're going to talk about how to ride the attraction, currently the very latest on opening times and strategies to actually ride Rise of the Resistance.
Well, the ride has only been open just over a week now. And we will try ourselves this week, but it seems that early and earlier at this point, guests are showing up because they want to get on the attraction. And no matter how Disney does this, the same amount of guests are going to get on to Rise of the Resistance. I think right now, this is about as good as you can get, unless they did something like Max Pass in California, which would actually also be great. But they do boarding groups, and so the earlier you get there, and I think some guests are getting there as early as 4 a.m. at this point.
Oh yeah, between 4 and 6 seems to be the golden time to guarantee getting on. And by the way, this is footage from opening day, some B-roll that Disney gave us while we're saying all this.
So, and I don't even know if 6 a.m. is going to hold, unless, I just don't know. Officially, I think the park is now opening at 7 a.m. as of today.
But they actually open the gates at 6 unofficially so far.
Right. I'm only talking about official.
Yeah.
So I personally would probably get there between 4 and 5 at this point. And this could change like in a week. Guests didn't realize at first that I think the park opening was like 8 or 9 a.m., but then guests were getting there really early.
They were still opening at 6, even though the time was, I think, 9 or even 8, as you said. But they were always opening at 6, opening the gates at 6 since opening day.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly what time the gates themselves open. I just know between 4 and 5 to me would be sort of that perfect time frame, which is super early. But what I really like about it is once you get your boarding group, once you've gone through all that, it's not like you have to stand in line for 10 hours. They'll give you a boarding group and then you get called. And that is what I really like about it. You can go do other things in this park or any other park until then.
And one last thing, I've been told the parking gates open at 4 a.m. every day, so bright and early.
Okay, but things can change, so just watch online on social media, especially platforms, for if you're going to go, check like that day or the day before to find out what everybody's doing.
Also, while we were at this event, we had a chance to preview a little bit of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Well, we didn't preview the ride, there's like this really cool illusion as part of the short Perfect Picnic, which is what the ride is based on. That was really surprising, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what else that they're going to have in this attraction. So I am looking forward to it. March 4th is the day for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but we have an interview about some of the merchandise, and that's what we're going to look at now.
Hi, I'm Morgan Dolgus. I'm a merchandiser for Disney Parks, and I'm excited to debut some of our new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway attraction merchandise that will be coming to you in March 2020. So just to take you through, we've got this great new Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway pass holder t-shirt. So this will be exclusive to annual pass holders, so come out and get it.
Very nice.
We also have some new plush offerings. So we have this Mickey and Minnie, and they're actually holding hands. So
I
cute.
love it.
We also have this great new Goofy conductor hat with his ears hanging down. So if you really want to get into the, the role of the conductor, you can wear his hat. We also have this great sculpted ceramic mug that features Goofy inside of the train.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, beautiful work on that. We also have some of these moving vehicles, so those actually move and they're great for the kids. We have this wooden whistle that is functional and actually makes noise when you blow into it. And then we have some other apparel offerings. We have this great men's tee that has the faux pocket of Mickey and Minnie on the picnic blanket with Shooty.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
Yes.
Is it a he or a she?
We haven't quite determined that
Okay.
yet,
I want to make sure I was paying attention.
We have this great new youth t-shirt that has the "Nothing Can Stop Us Now" tagline with Mickey and Minnie in the car. And then we have this great women's tee that has a really nice soft hand feel with Mickey and Minnie in the train. We also have a new magic band that we're featuring with Mickey and Minnie in the train as well.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
And then we have some new Wishables. So if you're not familiar with the Wishables, they're the great little plush offerings that we have in parks. The Goofy conductor is actually going to be the chaser item, so he'll be sold separately. But all of the rest of these little plush items will be sold in the blind pack, so you won't know which one you're getting. It will be a mystery. And we have our little Chubby breakout character. So he is exclusive to this attraction, and he is just adorable. We love Chubby. So we have Chubby, and then we have the train. We also have this great Chubby crossbody bag. So very cute.
You mentioned he'll be giving, or he or she will be giving Baby Yoda
I
a run
think
for
that
its
Chubby's
money.
going to be giving Baby Yoda a run for its money, so we'll see what it brings. But yeah, I think he's just too cute. We also have these great headwear offerings. We have the Mickey sequin headbands, and then we have a Minnie sequin headband with the hat and the lily. And then
of course, pins.
But of course, our pins for the trading collectors or anyone who just wants a pin. We have this opening day pin that will be limited edition. We also have this great pass holder exclusive pin, which will be limited edition. And then we have the great Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway open edition pin, as well as this double-sided ornament that features the attraction logo on the front and then the train on the back side with Mickey and Minnie.
Oh, great.
And that's a wrap for merchandise, and we're so excited to see you come out, and we hope that you're excited about the merchandise and the attraction.
Oh, yes,
Thank
merchandise
you.
looks amazing, and we just had a little preview, and oh boy, I can't wait to ride this
Yes,
thing.
we can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So here we are. This is the room that we actually were in, but things were more finished when we were there.
I thought this was, everybody just kind of gasped when they did this, what they showed us, which I know some people have written about, but I don't, we've spoiled you enough
Yes,
on
I
this,
agree with that.
on this episode. So, sometimes things are better left until when it's all finished, at least.
All I can say is it looks very promising, and I cannot wait. They really, really got me to want to ride after that preview.
Right, especially, we lost the Chinese theater
Great Movie
ride, yes. So I'm actually looking forward to it
can say
now.
the interior of the Great Movie Ride looks very,
Very
similar.
similar,
And they
yes.
said they completely gutted it and redid it, but you would never know from that lobby.
It still looks very classic.
So now we're going to the other coast, the West Coast, for Universal Studios Hollywood. And we were invited out to check out the Christmas offerings and some of the other things that we hadn't seen. And we were greeted here by Hello Kitty, who is making sure all the Christmas decorations, meaning this tree, was perfect for us.
So this was inside because it was raining for probably a few hours of our visit. So it was fun to find her inside. And because she was inside, not so many guests knew she was there.
Clearly.
So we had all the time in the world that we wanted with her, and then some.
Toothless!
Yes, and we found Toothless, which I may not even have seen Toothless if we hadn't been inside.
Toothless is awesome. Is this life size? I think
I
it
don't
is
know how
life
it-
size.
Because
Because
Toothless is totally a real person.
No, but I'm just saying
or
you
animal.
could climb on that, and it looks to me like it would be life-size Toothless. So that's pretty awesome. And this is some video you've gotten here of Puss in Boots and Shrek, who are really getting into the dancing groove here with these performers.
Well, while we're looking at this, I just want to mention the holidays at Universal only go till December 29th. It's only about a month long. So definitely check them out. Now, this was really fun because these performers come out looking like they're maintenance janitors or whatever you would call them. And all of a sudden, they start breaking into song and dance. But then Shrek and Puss in Boots came out, and Shrek obviously busted a move. And then you had over here, like...
The Scooby Gang trying to keep dry. I think it was misting a bit out there.
This particular area, I like to just kind of hang out in because all the characters move through this location, or a lot of them do, and you never know what you're going to see.
Well, here comes Puss in Boots and Shrek returning from their meet and greet. I guess we were there a little while. So it was a great place, as you said, a great place to be to meet the characters.
Universal Hollywood has so many characters. I don't know of any other park I've been to that has as many characters coming and going around the park as they do. And a lot of them have costumes on, as you can see Puss in Boots and Shrek both do.
So because it was kind of raining anyway, we decided why not go on the new ride, Jurassic World, and I did have the GoPro with me, so I figured let's get a recording in, and hopefully because of the rain they'll have turned down the splash a little bit. Not the case. Full force. But that was okay. You wisely decided to stay dry. But honestly, I don't regret a thing. I had a great time. This attraction is awesome. Totally 1,000 times better than the original. And you'll see why in a minute.
And I don't even remember the original. I don't do a lot of water rides anymore, but I kind of wish I had done this one now. But I think especially if we go during the summer, when it's really hot and you go through it and then you dry so quickly, I think that's when I will try it.
Well, this was certainly the wettest of the water type rides that I've ever done, because the camera, even with the GoPro, the lens still kept getting wet. So I had to quickly do the wipe during. I wish I had little window wipers on the GoPro for this ride.
This is my first time actually seeing the footage.
Look at how amazing this is. But you're getting squirted. Everywhere you go, you're getting squirted. See, there's more water in the lens.
Yeah, my first time. I have not watched this video yet. So it's really, and you can see how dark it is here with the rain clouds. We even got free hot chocolate because they were giving out free hot chocolate when it is cold and rainy or something. So I thought that was awesome. In-N-Out Burger did that too.
Oh, you had to bring up In-N-Out Burger. A definite must every time you go to Southern California. Anyway, we just saw 3 or 4 full-size animatronic dinos. And now we're about to go into the Predator area. And what's happening is we're about to go upwards. And when we go upwards, that can only mean one thing. Hippos. No. That means we're going.
I knew you were going to say that.
It means we're going to go down with a big splash at the end. But in this area up here is very cool. It's dark. There's dinosaurs. I'm not going to show all of that. I don't want to spoil the whole thing. Although we've been doing quite a bit of that in this show.
We've spoiled everything you could ride here. Anything new.
And we're seeing Chris Pratt here, and we also have full video of the dedication with Chris Pratt in person here at Universal Hollywood. And here is the big dino that menaces you right before you go down the big splash, just like Splash Mountain. And here we go for a soaking finish to the attraction.
And that...
And right here, right on the other side of this gate is Denise, very dry, waiting for us. What a smart person.
It was raining still a little bit, so, I was glad to be undercover.
So here is the Triceratops Encounter. This was very, very exciting to finally get to see. I've seen video of it, but we finally got to see her in person.
Well, for me, I just think that for Universal Studios, both Hollywood and Orlando, the dinosaurs have been really so popular. But not only Orlando has, I think we only have one dinosaur here.
I think we have Blue. We still have Blue.
I wasn't sure if we had Blue or not. We haven't been to Orlando in a little while, but Universal Hollywood has several dinosaurs, including the Triceratops. And this is just so impressive.
And they show you can touch her, but you have to use the back of your hand. You don't want to scratch up the Triceratops here.
And so they're really popular here. We met Blue last year. And there's also a smaller dinosaur. And I just think this is probably one of the biggest draws besides Wizarding World in Universal Hollywood.
And speaking of Blue, Blue still comes out over there and is just as ornery as ever.
Yes. And, I really love, it's like a show there. You have the Wrangler and you have the dinosaurs. And I just think, they make it a lot of fun. And you can also get your picture taken with them. And it's not usually too long of a wait to do that. But they do, they kind of keep it moving through the day where you have the variety of dinosaurs.
So now we're looking at a Grinch Snowman, and that could only mean one thing.
Grinchmas.
Well, and it's also jubilation. Happy jubilation.
I think that is kind of that area that we're going to go into. But I mentioned that the holidays go through December 29th. They have a new tree here, and the same Grinch. And you can actually meet the Grinch. He was the only one, I think, who had a really long line the whole day at Universal Hollywood.
At no point was it less than 90 minutes when we were there. And we really needed to cover a lot of ground, so we didn't have time to meet him, unfortunately.
And I don't know how long I think Max was a separate line.
Oh, was he? That I did not know.
I thought he was. I didn't see, when I looked at the Grinch, I did not see Max over there. So I thought Max might be separate. But anyway, the Grinch was very popular. Most characters, and while we're watching, this is the tree lighting celebration, which was about 6 times on this day. And so they have it multiple times, so you don't have to go the first one.
Very popular, though.
Very popular.
Very popular.
But it's nice that they do it so often.
Yeah, everybody definitely can have a chance.
Every half hour or so from 5 o'clock is what they were doing. But there are so many characters I mentioned at Universal Studios Hollywood. Most of them don't have very long lines. I met Curious George in his costume, his holiday.
Christmas,
yes, I love that. And there was only like 1 or 2 guests in front of me. And I met, a bunch of others. So Poppy, who I only waited like 5 minutes for. So that was fun.
Oh, always good to meet the trolls.
Yeah, they
no
just...
Guy Diamond in attendance?
No, and I don't know if he's wearing a holiday outfit. I don't know. I only saw Poppy.
He could have had a glittering holiday finale there.
I think not.
So here we go. It's the tree is fully lit. As you mentioned earlier, brand new tree this year. Beautiful fiber optic. And of course, it's snowing. And it really felt like it was snowing on this night as well.
And it really is a fun celebration. Grinchmas at Universal Hollywood is very different than Universal Florida. So if you've been to the Florida version and decided not to do Hollywood because it's going to be the same, it totally isn't. You don't have, the Grinchmas show, but you have this tree lighting ceremony. So it's really nice in that it's 2 very different experiences. And it really is, this area is open all day long. And they had, character meet and greets. And
who's kinds of who's walking around just meeting and greeting. No lines, right? Just interacting.
And so here's
Donkey. Even Donkey is in the holiday spirit here, and he was great. I love meeting Donkey. It's interactive. I always have a good time. I will end up putting up this video very, very soon. But so much fun to interact with Donkey.
He was, he was really cute and really fun, and it was surprising. It felt like all day long you could just run into decorations and characters, and
even this Despicable Me area was fully decorated for the holidays.
You had the Despicable Me sign has Santa hats on the Minions.
There's a Minion on top of the tree, and you can see him also in the lighting up there too.
I was very impressed. That was the one thing. Like, you guys did the tram tour. We were given express passes. I only used it for one attraction. I just wanted to walk around and look at decorations.
Well, we wanted to see if there was any Christmas element to the tram tour, and there was a slight element, but not as much as up here. Here we have one of the Minions with a Christmas hat.
And this one as well. I was just so surprised at how much holiday the decor was, almost everywhere, which I really liked.
And apparently this banana cabana is very new. My friend asked about this because he had never seen it, and he lives out in Burbank, goes a lot more than I do, and something about shooting into the coconuts with these bananas. So
you pay to do that?
And you win a prize, right?
Okay. And so this is a Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Of course, similar, Hogsmeade is similar to here in Orlando, but it's nice to get out there. We didn't even have hot butterbeer on this day. I think because...
Well, we had free hot chocolate.
Yes, we did, but earlier in the day. But because the park closed at 8, by then it's like, okay, well, we'll just go get some dinner. But I love hot butterbeer, and I love frozen butterbeer, but when it's this cold and California was pretty cold. That's something nice to have.
So this is very beautiful. Do you have the official name for this projection show on the castle?
The Magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle. And this was a really nice projection show. I think previously they had drones.
Well, that was something that they did in the summertime, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Totally different show.
You know what? They do such a terrific job at getting the projections onto the castle. And it's not too long of a show. And even though the park had closed at 8, I think it got dark around between 4:30 and 5. So they were able to have a number of showings.
And a ton of people want to see this show. And I have to give credit to Universal Hollywood. They do a great job of cycling the people in and out, because there is an area where people are to watch the show. And then there's another area to get on and off the attractions and to see, Hogsmeade. So I kudos to them for making it a very pleasant experience.
Well,
at least for us.
yeah, the streets are fairly narrow. That this area is fairly confined, but it was a very comfortable area to watch.
And it really feels like a nice finale to the day. You go, you see the castle, you see the lighting, you see little fireworks above it, and that's the end of the day for us. And as we were walking out, we decided to go into a shop, and wouldn't you know, it's snowing in the shop. I have never seen anything like this.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I don't know if this is something that just happens in December. I assume that's what happens. So I think this is part of that big store, the Universal Studios store, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
They have a number of different sections, including the Harry Potter area. And all of a sudden it's snowing, and it's like, I looked it up online. I don't see anywhere where it says that it snows in there.
And you can see a beautiful lighting. I had a great time. Universal Hollywood did not disappoint.
I was very, very impressed with, again, the decorations everywhere. Like, if you love Christmas, you will find the decorations just all over the park. You also have the Secret Life of Pets attractions going up, and the characters, which there's always a lot of characters. This was our first time there for the holidays. So many of them dressed for Christmas, and I thought that was really fun.
And believe it or not, that's another show.
That's another show. Thanks to our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Check them out. They can help you with wherever you want to go. But again, Disney specialists, they specialize in that, and they have for 20 years. But Becky right now is on a Carnival cruise. They haven't done Carnival in a little while. They do a lot of Royal Caribbean, but I think they're going to be also, starting more with with Carnival cruise.
Well, what
line.
a coincidence. We happened to be on the Carnival ship, the Panorama, and she was right next door on the Queen Mary.
Yes.
So we were able to wave from ship to ship if we wanted to.
Yes, and we were there. Carnival Panorama, which is in the same class as Vista and Horizon. It's a Vista class ship. But Mardi Gras comes out in less than a year, and that's going to be a bigger ship. I think it's going to be a very nice ship.
With a roller coaster.
With a roller coaster also. And it's going to be sailing out of Port Canaveral. So I can't wait. We'll probably do a media event with that. But I mean, that because it's so close, it's something we're going to be able to just sail out of if we choose to at any time.
Yeah, I love that. I can't wait. And next week we'll have all sorts of footage from Disneyland, including the Candlelight Processional, various Christmas, including the Christmas parade out there, Haunted Mansion Holiday, you name it, and the grand opening of Disney's Riviera Resort, which will be at tomorrow.
At this point, it's so hard to choose what to talk about because we have so much Disneyland, so it's probably just going to be part of a show, not a full show, because Disney's Riviera Resort, as Jeff just said, opens. There's so much going on, like at Epcot right now as far as construction and...
Actually, deconstruction too.
Deconstruction too. But even just going over... Yesterday, I was in the Disney Skyliner going over France, and you can really make out what's going on there now as far as we're going to be having this really nice new area with the creperie and the attraction, Ratatouille, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And I'm just really excited about that. And you can really see it now taking shape. So, and that's just, we already have enough for a show right now. We're going to have even more tomorrow. And then our week is starting, so I'm sure that we're going to be doing other things as well.
Well, I'm glad we were able to do a supersized edition since we were a little bit late for this week's show.
But we have so much, because sometimes it's hard to say, okay, well, we're going to put out a show on Monday, because sometimes we just don't have quite enough stuff to add, and maybe we know Tuesday something big's going to happen. So right now, like, we could do a show almost every day if we wanted to, because there's so much going on and there's so much that I would like to share.
Well,
But we're not doing it every day because Jeff puts in so much work to do this.
well, all I can say is thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we will see you all next week.
Have a great week.